And I think we already have some people on, so we're going to get started in 1 minute. Someone on my support team, can you let me know you can hear me and see me? Hello. Okay, I see some rock support. You can hear me and see me. I was expecting a voice, but that's amazing. Okay, so hey, we're going to get started. It's 5 minutes after the hour. And as I'm going through my introduction, I would love for you guys in the room. By the way, hey, is that Ramana Karada? Ramana, man, it's been a long time. If that's the Ramana that has been in my community and was a coach on my team for many, many, many years, welcome. It's good to see you. Yeah, is that Ramana who I think it is? Yeah, let's make Ramana a panelist here. I want to check in with Ramana here real time in front of our group here.
Hey, Brad.
Hey, well, this was a surprise.
It is not, Brad. It's always good to listen to you, and
I know. Do you have your video? Can you put it on?
uh, I can, but my let me do it.
All right. Yes, for those watching, Ramana, I mean, look, I'm going to do an intro here about me. Some of you have never heard me or never been to one of my events, but I've been investing apartments for 25 years and I've been coaching others since 2006. And I created my own event program and my own coaching program in 2013. And Ramana has been with me. He probably came into my community, Ramana, was it 2015, 2016? And I'll never forget your first deal with two other co-GPs. You did like a 317 unit deal.
Yep.
Crazy. Well, it's good to have you on. I wish you could share your video and I could see you personally, but hopefully I'll see you soon.
I just turned it on, Brad.
There he is. Well, for all of you listening and for those of you who are watching the recording, this is Ramana. When did you first come to my rat race event?
In early 2015.
That's amazing. Yeah, so look, I've been doing these events since 2013. Ramana came in 2015. He joined my mentoring program and had lots and lots of success. And it's such an honor and a surprise, Ramana, to have you on tonight.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure as well, Brad. It's an amazing program, and I would join again.
Good. It's good to see you. Well, I'm going to take everybody else that's on tonight a little bit of a preview of what's going to happen, because for those of you that know or don't know, I'm doing my next rat race event 10 days from now in Dallas, starting Friday afternoon for a short evening session, and then all day Saturday and all day Sunday. Wow, that was a surprise. Like, so great to see people that I've known for more than a decade and tuning in tonight. So hey, everybody, that was an impromptu surprise. Again, it caught me off guard. And what I'm going to cover here for the next, say, 45 minutes or so, it won't be long. I promise I'll be done at the top of the hour, whatever time zone you're in. At the top of the hour, I'll be done. And what I want to cover is, many of you know, I'm doing a 2.5 day training event starting 10 days from now, June 26th in the evening, Friday evening in Dallas, and then all day Saturday, the 27th from 9 to 5, and then Sunday, the 28th from 9 to 4. And I've been doing these events 3 or 4 times a year since 2013. Okay. And what I'm going to be teaching is a proven system. So you're going to get the multifamily playbook. Okay. Now, the thing I want you to understand about the multifamily playbook is there are some things that never change, and there are some things that change as times change, as markets change. Is it a buyer's market, is it a seller's market, or is interest rates high, is interest rates low? And what does that have to do with property values and cap rates and, and making offers and all those types of things? So the market changes, the market cycles, and so I teach that. Okay. But there's a lot of foundations of the playbook that don't change, like some of the ways we find deals, some of the ways we analyze deals, some of the ways we manage deals. And so, of course, we're always being aware and pivoting with market changes and occupancies and cap rates and interest rates and income and expenses and different strategies. But a lot of the fundamentals are timeless. Okay. So what I'm going to be teaching at this event are the timeless principles, but also I'm going to be teaching you what's happening right now in the market. And what I need for you to understand is right now is a buyer's market, which means like as buyers, we have less competition. And generally speaking, when buyers and the sellers are negotiating on a transaction in a buyer's market, the buyers have more power and the sellers have less power. Now, why is that? Well, when there's more sellers than buyers, then sellers can't be too choosy. And right now, there's not a whole lot of buyers. Now, why is that? Well, from the decade from 2012 to 2022, the industry became so much in demand that everybody that was in multifamily was making money hand over fist. And so there were more people in the world, in the United States, more people got into multifamily, more people bought deals. And over a period of time from 2012, which was a buyer's market, to around 2015 to 2017, it was an even market. And somewhere around 2018, 2019, the dynamic shifted into a seller's market. And again, what does that mean? That means from, say, 2019 to 2022, there were more people wanting to buy multifamily than sell multifamily. So prices were bidding up and sellers got to choose from a large amount of buyers that drove up the price. Well, now we're back. Now we're back to a buyer's market. And so they're literally right now, not like right at this moment calling me right now, but say this week, actually the week of June 16th, there are people calling me and my team, people selling deals, brokers selling deals in various different markets, saying like, Brad, like, where have all your buyers gone? Well, so one of the reasons I'm talking to you tonight is that many of you are coming to my event, and some of you that are tuned in tonight, the good news is there's still tickets left. So what I'm going to be talking about is why you should come to the event 10 days from now in Dallas, what you're going to learn, what you're going to get out of it, and also the consequence, honestly, of not coming. Okay. And I'll just say that too. The consequence of not coming is nobody ever waited their way to get rich. And I'll say that again. Nobody ever waited their way to build wealth. Okay. You don't build wealth by waiting. Okay. And when I saw this quote, it really hit me that like, some people were like, well, the timing isn't right for me, or I can't make this event, or I'm going to wait until interest rates come down, or I'm going to wait until the fundamentals improve. And what I want to share with you is that the biggest opportunities and the biggest fortunes are made. They're not made by waiting. Okay. They're made by taking action. And so what we're going to be understanding is why now is a good time, why it's a buyer's market, why we need more people investing in apartments now, and why that matters to you. It's not that we need it. It's not that I need it. It's the market needs it. And at some point, there's going to be, more buyers than sellers. And at that point, that's when human nature kicks in. And when everybody else is buying apartments and making money, then all the people that waited, some of them finally say, hey, now I'm going to get in. And then they get in, and it's a seller's market. Okay. And so one of the things I've learned after being in this business for almost 25 years is the ability to recognize patterns. And patterns repeat themselves. They say history repeats themselves. And I've seen the pattern go from 2002 to 2008. And then I saw the down market from 2008, 9, and 10. And then I saw the signs of recovery. And then I was buying deals aggressively in 2011, 2012, and there were people thought I was crazy. But I made some big fortunes during that time. And then pretty much for the whole next decade. And then we went through a downturn again in 23, 24. 2023 is when it all turned down. 2024 was a tough year. 2025 was a tough year. 2026, there's still challenges out there for people that own deals, but for people that are buying deals, it's a great opportunity. I bought a deal in February this year, 3 months ago, 4 months ago, and it was on the market for $11 million. And me and two of my students picked it up for $7 million. Okay, we picked it up for $7 million. And it was only 70% occupied. It was owned by a guy from California. The property was in Irving, Texas. It was undermanaged. And we picked it up. It was 70% occupied. We already have it up to 86% occupied. I mean, this is the deal that will probably double or triple our money in a few short years, just like we did a decade ago. So these are the kind of opportunities that are there. So I'm going to share my slides, but I really want to get you guys excited about, again, I think I screwed up here on the Zoom. Hold on a second. You would think I know how to do this. Okay, I need sharing access, Sunrock support. Make sure I'm able to share that. Okay, here we go. So what I'm going to talk about, and I'm losing my voice already because I'm getting excited. I'm going to talk about how I started and scaled. I already talked about why you should attend the event, okay? And I'm going to cover that too. And I'm going to cover what you will learn and how you could register, because I know some of you that are watching tonight have not registered yet. Maybe some of you just found out about the event or came on to see like, hey, what's this event all about? And why should I consider coming? And then for those that registered, what happens next in the next 10 days, okay? So real quick about me is I never thought I'd be a real estate investor. Neither of my parents finished college. And the plan they had for me and the plan that I bought into was study hard, get good grades, go to college, get a job, go back to college and get another job. So I did that. I became an engineer. I went back to school. I got an MBA. I worked for 5 different companies over 14 years. I was fired once. I was laid off once. And I even had a boss that told me I'd never amount to anything. Okay. I read Robert Kiyosaki's books. In my early 30s, I got reinvigorated with life. I got passionate about life again. I went to a real estate investing seminar, just like the one that you're going to come to June 26th. I bought their mentoring program. And 8 months later, I bought a 32-unit building, and I had no experience. Since then, I've done 67 apartment buildings, over 11,000 units. I've paid 0 in taxes for most of the time in the last 6 years or 8 years. And I started mentoring others when I became financially free myself, okay? And my mentees have done a phenomenal job. They're in like 47 different markets all over the United States. They have hundreds of thousands of units, and they literally own over $10 billion of assets, of apartment assets. So that's a little bit about me. That's a picture of my 32-unit deal that I bought. It put $4,000 a month into my pocket like clockwork. My second deal, 30 units, put another $3,000 to $4,000 a month like clockwork. So after 18 months, after the seminar that I attended, I had 62 units and I had enough income to quit my job, okay? Because my definition of retirement used to be you work until 65 or 70, have a nest egg, and then pray that you die before you run out of money. And then my new definition of retirement was buy assets that produce income. And when the income from the assets meets or exceeds your income from your job, then you can walk away from your job. So I was able to do that literally in like less than 3 years of investing in apartments with only 62 units. Okay. The problem is after 62 units, I ran out of my own money. And then I had to figure out how to syndicate. So from 2002 to 2012, I syndicated 1,000 doors. And I was the only general partner in all my deals. And then in 2012, that's when I launched my event company, okay, where I do events and I mentor other people doing their apartment deals. And that became a passion of mine, and it became what I would call my full-time activity. So here I am teaching, coaching, and mentoring other people when I still want to buy deals. So how did I go from 1,000 units to 11,000 units from 2012 to 2022, when a lot of my time was spent on coaching and mentoring and helping other people with their deals? Well, I became co-general partners. And so all the deals that I did from 2012 to this day, I have more than one other general partner. Now, what I don't have is I don't have what some people have done out there where I have like 20 GPs in the deal. That's not me. Every one of my deals, I have a handful or less of general partners that we share the workload. We all have substantive duties. We all sign on the loans, and we all split up the GP compensation. Okay. And so that's how I was able to scale rapidly from 2012 to 2022. I did 10 times the amount of units in the same time period. And I basically worked, I had other things going on in my life as well. Besides doing deals, I'm coaching and teaching other people and speaking at other events on real estate investing. So that's the secret to scaling your real estate business, is when you realize you don't have to do it all yourself, and that you could go bigger and faster and better, not just bigger, but bigger and better when you have investors and when you have co-GPs in your deals. But the other thing I want to say is that now is also a good time to consider buying smaller deals again. So when you come to my event 10 days from now, I'm also going to have a special segment for those people that want to start off not in a syndication, buying their own deals with their own money. And just to be clear, this is how I started. Okay. So whether you want to syndicate a big deal or you want to buy your own small deal, I'm going to have something for you. And even if you want to be a passive investor, I'm going to have a segment on passive investing as well. So when you come in 10 days, I'm going to teach the ins and outs of passive investing, being a passive investor in a syndication, being the GP in a syndication, and buying your own deal with your own money. Okay. And look, I've done all three. Okay. And I'm qualified to teach all three of these strategies because I've done them all. I've bought a 32 unit with my own money and I managed it. So I could teach you how to buy a small deal and manage it. And I've bought over 1,000 units with investors and I managed that. So I can teach you whether you want to start with 10 units or 100 units or 200 units, you're going to be in the right room. Okay. So I have a big mission, and it's to help and mentor a lot of people, over 1 million people. And why am I doing this? Is because apartment investing has helped me become financially free. It's helped me live a life that I never quite honestly thought was possible. Like when Robert Kiyosaki talks about, getting out of the rat race. Like he has a whole game called the cash flow game. Have you ever played the cash flow game, right? And the whole goal is in the beginning of the game, you have a career, and the whole goal of the game is to buy assets where you have more income coming in from your investments than you do from your job, so you could quit your job. Okay. And so I did that in real life, and it's called financial freedom. And I'm not anybody special. Okay. If I could do it, you could do it. As long as you could be coachable and you're open to learning new things, and you're open to being coached. In other words, like you're open to getting information from somebody that has done something that you haven't done. Okay. And I'm not a life coach. Like I'm not going to coach you on your marriage. I'm not going to coach you on anything else, but I am going to coach you for a weekend. If you show up and allow me to, I'm going to coach you on exactly the blueprint that I've done, that I've transferred to hundreds and hundreds of other people that they've done, that I'm still doing today myself. Okay. And so this is exactly what you're going to learn. This is why you should attend the event. Okay. So number one is I'm going to teach you this blueprint or framework. Okay. It's a system. And if you follow the system in the order of step 1, 2, 3, and 4, your chances of success go way up. And so before you start finding and analyzing deals, the first thing I'm going to teach you is understanding the deal, the numbers, the vocabulary. I'm going to show you the formulas. I'm going to show you how we make money on deals. I'm going to explain how we get the deals to cash flow, how we increase the value, how tax savings work and depreciation and cost segregation and bonus depreciation. And so you're going to understand all that. You're going to understand the big picture, the business model. Okay. And you're going to understand it well enough. And in class, I'm going to have us doing breakout sessions where I'm going to teach, and then you're going to explain what I taught to your neighbors, and no one's going to be left behind. Okay. So you're going to understand this business better than virtually the rest of America. Okay. You're really going to know the business. Okay. And then I'm going to teach you how to find deals and where to find deals and where not to go to find deals. And when you find them, you got to analyze them. And I'm going to teach you how to find the deals and analyze the deals as step 2. And then step 3 is funding deals. And I'm going to teach you how to raise money if you're doing a syndication, or how to get the deal funded if you're, what the rules are for down payments and equity and debt. And how do you qualify for debt? Okay. And so whether you want to buy your own deal or you want to syndicate a deal, I'm going to cover that. And then I'm going to cover closing and managing and exiting the deal. Okay. So I want to give you a little preview of this, but before, some of you may need to cut out early, and I still have like 30 minutes of content. Okay. So this is not the end. This is just the beginning. But I want to give you guys a preview, because if people leave early, I don't want you to miss this. Some of you haven't registered yet, and we still have space available. Okay. And so again, what you need to do, and by the way, I used to charge a couple $100 for this event, and right now I'm doing it for free. That's right. I'm doing the event for free. Okay. And so what you need to do is you need to scan that QR code, and you need to go and register. And so when you register, we're going to need your simple information, your name, email, and your phone number. And that will enable you to secure your ticket. Okay. Now, once you secure your ticket, within about 24 hours, then you'll be getting the event logistics, the event schedule, the event location. Okay. I do not give out the event location. I mean, I'll tell you it's in Dallas, right? But I don't give out the venue, like the hotel, the facility, because honestly, I don't want people just going there hanging out that aren't approved to come. Okay. So even though it's a free event, it's a private invite event, and it's a registration process. And so you just need to scan here, get yourself registered, and then you'll get a confirmation email. Okay. So that's what happens. Okay. So some of you have been messaging my team, said, hey, I registered and I haven't gotten the confirmation email yet. Well, we literally just started sending out the confirmation emails last week. Okay. And so if you haven't gotten it, email us at support@bradsumrock.com. That's support@bradsumrock.com. And we'll make sure you get the confirmation email, but you need to be registered. Okay. So that's what's happening. So these are a preview of just some of the things you're going to learn. So when I talk about understanding the deal, I'm going to teach you the ways we make money. Okay. So I'm going to go through the formulas for all this stuff. I'm going to go through how we get cash flow. Like, what's the formula for like if you invest 100,000 in a deal, like how do you get your money back? Like what cash flow should you expect? What upside should you get when we sell the deal? Okay. And so I'm going to show you how the deal's cash flow. I'm going to show you the formulas. I'm going to show you for the formulas for how we add value to the property, which is appreciation. And I'm going to make sure you understand the difference between market appreciation and forced appreciation. Okay, so there's formulas for that. And apartments don't just go up based on the market. They also go up based on the way we add value. And so the more income we could create by raising rents, raising occupancy and optimizing expenses, they make the property more valuable. So when we sell it, we can sell it at a higher price than we bought it at. That's called a value add. So I'm going to teach you the value add business model, and you're going to know it. Okay, you will walk away knowing the formulas and the math and the numbers, even if you're not a numbers person, because I have the ability to make this simple so that anybody can understand it. You don't need to be an engineer or an accountant or a finance major to understand the apartment numbers, and I make it really simple so that anybody can understand it. Some of my best students and investors have been artists and musicians. Okay, they're not all engineers and technical people. And then I'm going to show you exactly how apartments help you save money on tax. And so one of the things you're going to get really clear is, like, when you invest in stocks, for example, like let's say you have your money in the stock market, you only make money one way. You make money by buying low and selling high. But with apartments, you make money three ways. There's cash flow, there's upside, and there's immediate tax savings. So you're going to know this inside and out. And this is all going to be happening like the first session, day one. Like, so you don't want to miss day one. Okay. So I'm going to teach you the depreciation. I'm going to show you what happened in 2025 with the House bill that was passed. Some people call it the big, beautiful bill. If you remember last year, it barely passed because we have a slight Republican majority, okay, in the House and the Senate. And so that passed. And what that does is it gives us the maximum depreciation benefits. And I've been going around the country talking about how this single act that brought back the maximum depreciation benefits really makes apartments great again. It really does. Okay, because you can see here, we used to have 100% bonus depreciation, and then it was scheduled to phase out. And the Biden administration let it phase out. And then in 2025, the Trump administration, and it wasn't just Trump, it was the Speaker Johnson of the House and also the Senate, that they passed this bill, again, slight majority, but it brought back and restored depreciation benefits. Okay, so it truly does make apartments great again, because one of the best reasons that we invest in apartments is to reduce our taxes. Okay, and so this is how I shared that I haven't paid much federal tax since 2018. So you're going to understand that. Okay, I'm going to teach you how to select markets. Okay, and this is just a glimpse. Okay. So I'm sure some of you have your AI recorders on now and transcribing all this and stuff like that. It used to be like, Brad, are we getting the recording? Yes, you're getting the recording. Brad, can we have the slides? No, you can't have the slides, but you get the recording. But now you don't even need that because you got your AI stuff going on. Okay. But I only invest in markets that meet this criteria. Okay. We got to have a landlord and business friendly environment. We got to have above average job growth, above average population growth. We got to be in a place where the cost of home ownership is much, much higher than the cost of renting. This is what's called affordability gap. Okay, if you could go rent a house for the same price as renting an apartment, honestly, why would anyone rent an apartment? Well, some people would, because they want lifestyle, they want community, they want amenities. But for the most part, if you're a family, like, you want to have a house with a yard. But that's the problem. Most American families can't afford a house because a house might be $400,000 or $500,000 and they need 20% down and a 700 credit score. But they could go rent into your apartment with no down payment, just the deposit. Okay, so we want to understand what makes a market attractive. Because you could have the best business plan in the world, but if you buy in a bad market, you'll lose. Okay. If you buy in a great market and you have an average business plan, you can still win. And I'll say that again. You could have an average business plan and buy in a great market and win, or you could have a great business plan and buy in a bad market and you could still lose. Okay. So I'm gonna make sure you understand how important it is to select a good market. And And the event will be small and intimate enough, by the way, that you can get your questions answered. And I will, if you have a market you want to ask me about at the event, hey, Brad, is this a good market? I'll explain to you yes or no and why. I'll do it real time. Okay. I'm going to show you how to analyze deals. I'm going to show you how to find them. And then I'm going to show you how to analyze them. And I'm going to show you the quick way to do it. And when you leave this event, you will be able to analyze a deal using my quick analysis technique in 60 seconds. Imagine being able to analyze an apartment community in 60 seconds. I'm going to teach you how to do that. So look, when you come to the event, you're going to walk away understanding the business model and how to analyze any deal in 60 seconds. And then I'm also going to tell you, don't buy a deal with the 60-second analysis. Now you got to do the detailed analysis. And I'm going to show you how to do that too, and the information you need. And I'm going to explain all this stuff. So if you're looking at this stuff and you're like, what's NOI? What's a rent roll? What's a P&L? I'm going to explain it all to you. Okay, so you're not only going to walk the walk, you're going to talk the talk. You're going to understand the lingo, the terminology, the industry jargon. Okay, and that's required to be successful. I'm going to teach you the ways to invest. I'm going to teach you how to buy your own deals, which I call individual ownership or direct ownership. And I'm going to teach you the syndication model, whether you want to be a GP or an LP. Okay, so I'm going to cover all this stuff. Let's see here. I'm looking at some of the questions. I'm going to go through the chat box at the end. I usually try to get you guys more engaged in the chatting, but sorry, I haven't done that so far. I usually ask where you're from and who's coming to the event. So let me check in with you so far. Who's coming to the event? Who's actually coming to the event in June? I want to see if you guys are even still here. Okay, are you guys in there? Could I see any of the chats? Okay, good. I see some of you coming to the event. That's amazing. Okay, yes, Kevin, Ramana, Rodika. That's amazing. Yeah. All right. Well, sorry, I usually try to get you guys much more engaged. Terry, that's amazing. Yeah. So I'm going to teach you the 3 ways to invest. I'm going to show you this, and maybe you've seen this before, but I'm going to show you. And again, take a screenshot of this. Tonight was a preview. Okay. The goal of tonight is for those that already signed up to make sure you show up, to make sure you know that you're going to get value from being at this event. And the other goal is for those of you that haven't signed up to say, holy shit, I got to rearrange my schedule and I got to be in Dallas June 26th, June 27th, and June 28th. You know why? Because if you learn what I'm showing you here and you want to be a GP in a deal, you can make 10 times as much as an LP. Because GPs get paid acquisition fees. Just check out this chart. The passive investor gets a cash return and they get sales proceeds. Now, I did not put the taxes on here because even though everybody's going to get a depreciation loss, that depreciation loss may or may not turn into taxable cash savings for you that tax year, because that depends on the rest of your tax return. Okay. And so I'm only using cash flow and appreciation. And you can see a passive investor, if they invest 50K in a deal, maybe they get 4,000 a year cash flow and 20,000 of upside when the deal ends. But the GP, well, they can get an acquisition fee. You can see they get the same return on their money. If they invest 50,000, they get the same 4,000 a year as the passive, but they're getting 20% of the deal, 20% of the cash flow, which is 60,000 a year. They're getting asset management fees and 20% split of the upside. So for those of you that really want to roll up your sleeves and be active general partners in the deals like Ramana was, or still is, you can literally 10 times your money. Okay, you can 10 times your money if you want to be the active GP in a deal versus a passive. And I'm going to teach you the numbers and the formulas. Okay, and I'm going to have a segment on buying your own deals with your own money. So let me ask you this. How many of you know where you want to start? How many of you want to be GPs? Type in the word GP. Okay. How many of you want to buy your own money? Type that in, buy with my own money. And how many of you want to start as a passive investor or limited partner? Type in LP. Okay, I see some of you type it in GP. Any other GPs? Anyone want to be an LP? Anyone want to buy their own deal with their own money? Or do we have all GPs here? Okay, I see more people type it in GP. Well, look, depending on the makeup of the event too, I'm going to ask you guys in the beginning of the event. I'm going to ask you, how many people want to be GPs? How many people want to be LPs? How many people want to buy their own deals with their own money? And depending on who's in the room, I'm going to pivot and I'm going to spend more, like if 80% of you want to be GPs, then I'm going to spend a lot of time on GPs. And if a third of the room wants to, learn how to buy small deals with their own money, then maybe I'll spend a third of my time on that. So I'm going to customize the event to who's in the room. Okay. And the thing I like about this event, this is not a multi-speaker event, by the way. This is me for 16 and a half hours. Okay. Like 2 hours on Friday, 8 hours Saturday and 7 hours on Sunday. Okay. I don't know what that adds up to, 17 and a half, 18 hours. So you're getting me for 18 hours spread out over 2.5 days. So you're going to get the content and you're going to get a customized approach depending on who's in the room, and you're going to get your questions answered. Okay. That's what's going to happen. So next is I'm going to teach raising money for those of you that want to syndicate. And look, I've raised over 100 million just in the last 5 years, not from, 2002 to 2026, but literally just in the last 5 years, I've raised over $100 million, including one webinar where I raised $22 million in 1 hour and 7 minutes. So I've learned a thing or two. And this is just a glimpse of what I'm going to teach you on raising money, but it's who's your ideal investor? Where are they at? Grant Cardone used to have a saying, who's got my money? Meaning like there's money out there and where's the money, to invest in his deals. And I'm going to share with you a similar concept of like, there's trillions of dollars of money out there and you want to raise money for a deal that maybe you don't even have yet, or maybe you do have. And so like some of you are doctors and you may know other doctors. Some of you are teachers and you may know other teachers. I have students that are airline pilots and they are part of the airline pilots union. Okay. So they find out who they're going to talk to raise money from, and then how they're going to get in front of those people. What podcasts do they listen to? What events do they go to? How do I get in front of them and connect with them? And then you want to create a system that actually draws them in. Okay, so this is just a preview of what I'm going to be teaching you on raising money if you want to syndicate deals. I'm going to talk about closing the deals, all the things that need to happen after you find them and analyze them. And of course, we talk about debt and equity, which is funding. I'm going to cover making offers. I'm going to cover signing the contract. I'm going to cover the business plan. I'm going to cover due diligence. I'm going to cover forming your entity, raising the capital, signing the legal docs, and what is a PPM, and securing the loan, and the insurance and the property management agreement. So all these things have to happen. And I'm going to cover everything soup to nuts, like ABC 1, 2, 3 over 2.5 days. So this event is not fluff. This event could be the most valuable event you ever attended in your life, and it's free. Okay. I'm going to cover tracking. Like, what do I track things on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis for my deals. And this is just a screenshot of like, what do I track for my deals on a weekly basis? Occupancy, notices to vacate, vacancies, traffic, evictions, renewals, ready units, down units, delinquency. So when you come to this event, you're not just going to learn how to find deals. You're not just going to learn how to analyze deals. You're not just going to learn how to raise money and get debt for the deals. You're not just going to learn how to close them. You're going to learn how to track them and manage them, or manage the management company. Okay. And then how do we exit? When eventually you're going to want to exit. Do you sell? Do you get BOVs from brokers, or do you refinance? Do you recapitalize? And what is that? Or depending on the nature of your loan, do you want to extend it or modify it? And we've gone through that too. And I'm also going to cover market cycles and what happens if the market shifts and you're caught unprepared. Like, so you're going to come to this event, ladies and gentlemen, and you're going to know I'm going to take my 25 years of experience, like in 21 out of 25 years have been extremely positive and lucrative, by the way. And there's been a few years of downturns and challenges. But you're going to learn the strategies, and you're going to learn what works in any market, and you're going to learn how to, insulate yourself from some of the things that happened over the last couple of years to people that bought at the top of the market in 2021 and 2022. So I'm going to cover all that. Okay. And I'm going to make sure you get all your questions answered. So again, look, ladies and gentlemen, if you're still here, like, you owe it to yourself to register for this event. Like, I can't teach you what I can't teach you in an hour on a Zoom what I'll be able to cover in an intensive, immersive environment. So this is why I do in-person events, is because you leave home, you leave whatever's distracting you at home, and you come to a neutral place. And some of you are in Dallas, and many of you will come from out of town. So you leave home, and maybe you stay in a hotel, and then we gather, okay, and I teach, and then we reinforce the teaching. And again, it starts Friday at 5:00, and I go a couple hours, and then we have a networking event Friday night, and then we go all day Saturday, and we go most of the day Sunday. And I'm even going to put you on a bus. And I'm going to show you a deal that I own, and I'm going to show you a deal that my student recently bought. So not only are you going to learn the theory and the formulas and everything I showed you, but I'm actually going to take you to see properties. Okay. And time permitting, I may take you to see one for sale. And maybe somebody at the event will end up buying it. So, I mean, what we're going to be doing Friday evening, Saturday, and Sunday is unprecedented. I guarantee you, I would say I'll give you your money back, but it's free. But I guarantee you've never been to an event like this. And the content, this event is easily worth $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000. Okay. And I used to charge hundreds of dollars for my events, but I'm not right now, because multifamily went through a down cycle. And people started investing in other asset classes that were easier, but now those asset classes don't seem easy. I mean, look, let me share something with you. Nothing is easy forever. Nothing makes money forever. Everything goes up and down at some point. And multifamily is at a perfect place for you to start, because, like, if you're new to this business, you didn't go through the downturn. You get to start at the bottom, and it's only going to go up for the next 4 to 10 years. Like, how long the upcycle is, I don't know. Okay. But we have a limited opportunity to get into a business that is, quite honestly, like, near the bottom of the market right now. And this is why it's a buyer's market, and sellers hate it. Okay. You could be brand new in this business, and you could get the better of a negotiation with an experienced seller right now. And I got students that are doing just that. So look, when you go to register for the event, you're going to see a free option, and you're going to see a paid option. So I did say the event is free, and it is. And the free portion covers all the main sessions. The platinum, you get lunch with me, and I'm going to do a bonus session on underwriting a deal. Okay. So, like, again, the GA, you get access to the full event, except I add in bonuses for the platinum. So on Saturday, I have a platinum lunch just with the platinums, where we do Q&A. And then Sunday morning, I do an underwriting session where we're going to take a real property that's on the market right now, and I'm going to use my property analyzer. I'm going to show you how to underwrite it. Okay, that's the platinum experience. Plus, you get better seating. You get to sit in the front part of the training room, in the front part of the bus. So that's what's happening. Okay. So for those of you already registered, you owe it to yourself and your families to show up. Okay. And for those that haven't registered yet, again, you still have time, and all you need to do is scan that QR code. It's free. If you could afford the extra $200, do the platinum. If not, the free, it's going to be a great use of your time. I don't need to charge a couple $100 for the event. Okay. It's not the investment you make in your time is what I take more seriously than I can charge $100 or $200 for the event. Okay. But for somebody that's willing to take a Friday evening, Saturday and Sunday away from their life, away from their family, away from anything else they could be doing, and come and study and train and learn a proven system so they can advance themselves and their family forward like I did. Like, I've made tens of millions of dollars in this business, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm not bragging, but I'm just impressing upon you that, like, I worked for 14 years in corporate America, and I made more money in 1 year doing apartments than I did in 14 years of working for somebody else after an engineering degree and an MBA, and you could do the same thing. And I've helped hundreds, if not thousands of people get cash flow, quit their jobs, increase their net worth, and reduce their taxes by teaching them exactly what I'm going to be teaching you. Okay, so look, the choice is yours. You could do nothing, and you could tell me, oh, I'll come to one of your later events, and I'll just leave you with this. Again, nobody ever got rich by waiting. Wealth doesn't get built by waiting. Okay, wealth gets built by taking decisions and taking actions. And so for many of you, the best decision and action you can take in the next 10 days is to arrange your life to be in Dallas, Texas, and learn my system for finding deals and funding deals and closing deals and managing deals and repeating the cycle and scaling and changing the trajectory of your financial future. Is the best decision I ever made in my financial life, was to pivot from corporate America to multifamily building investing, apartment building investing. And it might be the same for you. So I hope to see you in Dallas, Texas. Finishing up here early, I'm going to look in the chat box to see, do I have any questions? Let's see here. Okay. Well, I love this question here. Somebody asked, what's the difference than going to Grant Cardone events? So Grant's a far better marketer than me. I'll give him that. But Grant, look, I've been to Grant's events. First of all, I've had Grant Cardone on my stages, 2018, 2019. I've been to his events, and he's a great dude. He's a good individual. I really like him a lot. My experience is I've been to his events, and he's going to be talking about how you get, buying these huge deals, like this deals he's buying in Boca Raton and combining it with Bitcoin and all that type of stuff. But those kind of deals, in my view, are not how you should start. Okay. Grant admits himself, his first deal was a 32-unit building, just like mine. And so what I've done better than anybody is I've helped people with little to no experience get into the business and succeed. Okay. I've done that better than anybody. I've done it with hundreds and hundreds of people. I've also helped people that have been doing single family and transition into multifamily. I've helped people that were doing small multifamily transition into syndication. So, like, I'm going to teach you, if you come to my event, like, it's actually okay to buy 10 units with your own money, or it's okay to do a syndication with 60 units in a C-class neighborhood. Like, Grant is buying trophy assets and trophy areas. He's buying class A, product for hundreds of millions of dollars. Okay. You're not going to buy that. Now, I don't want to shoot holes in your dream, but if I had a brand new student that was in my coaching program and he or she told me they were going to go buy this 300 unit deal for $60 million, and somebody said, hey, if it's a good deal, the money will come. That's not true. Okay. the money won't come just if it's a good deal. You have to have a good operator behind it with experience, with net worth, with liquidity, with track record. Okay. It's highly unlikely that if you're a brand new person and you're buying a $100 million deal, that you're going to get the loan and you're going to raise the money. Okay. So that's what I'm going to teach you. And that being said, I like Grant's events. He's a good guy. It's educational, it's informational. But nobody's helped as many people as I have actually get into the apartment investing and syndication business. I'm not talking about investing with like Cardone Capital. Okay. My events are not for you to come and invest with me in my deals. My events are for you to come and you do your own deals. So I hope I've answered that question. Okay. All right. And I see my support team putting in, good. They're doing a great job at putting in good politically correct answers. I'm giving you my own version of the answers. So I still have a lot of people on. That means you guys are engaged. And look, if you're still on, there's only one thing left for you to do, and it's come to the event. Okay. Like I said, you're just not going to get, and some of you need to hear this because I see who's on here. Okay. Some of you come to all my free trainings and you're looking for nuggets of information, but you won't come to Dallas. You won't invest a weekend of your life, and you're just not going to move forward as fast. Like, hopefully there was value in being here tonight, that I gave you a preview of what I'm going to teach. And I hopefully taught you some things, but I didn't actually teach you the formulas and the recipes and the underwriting and all that type of stuff. And why is that? Because I had 47 minutes. Okay. June 28th through June 26th through 28th, I have 18 hours. And so what I'm able to do in 18 hours is 100 times or 1,000 times more than what I'm going to be able to do in an hour. And what I teach Friday night, I build on it Saturday. And then you go home and you let it marinate and you network and you go to dinners, and then you come back Sunday, and then I build on it again. And then I take you out to see properties, and it all starts coming together. Okay. And you're going to learn the complete blueprint in 18 hours. So that's why you should be at this event. Okay. And I'm not going to speak about any other person's events, but why you should come to this one is that's what you're going to get from it. So, all right, folks, we're at the top of the hour. It's been fun. I hope it was informational and informative and educational and maybe a little entertaining. But just be clear, like, my number one goal for this evening and at the event is not to entertain you. Okay. It's to equip you. It's to equip you with the proven steps to invest in multifamily buildings and what's happening right now in the market and how you could win and how you could take advantage of what's happening. Okay. So that's my goal. And I've also been told that I'm funny and I'm interesting and I make people laugh, but that is not my outcome for you, actually. But we will also have a good time. Believe me, we will. Like it'll be boring if we just sat around and learned and have a good time. So how many people believe that you can learn and have a good time? I do. So I promise you, we'll all have a good time and we'll get to know each other as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in. And I hope to see many of you in Dallas, Texas. Good night. Thank you so much.